It was huge. I actually think it's a thing. Um, so this is what happened. You know, her father was this country doctor. He hadn't always been. I mean, he'd been, well, more or less he was, because he worked for the big, every one of these, and they're enormous sugar mills, had a doctor. So he was the doctor for the mill and the people who worked in the mill, and then he had his private practice. And when Celia was 20, he actually more or less retired, so to speak, from those kind of jobs and bought a practice on the coast in this very out-of-the-way place, Pilone, and went there. And then she decided to go there with him. Instead of going to university, she accompanied her father, and she became his assistant, his nurse. And so what she did was work with him in his office and also travel into the mountains, because her father was a person who let everyone come to him, and if he couldn't pay, that didn't matter. And he even resisted people paying with a chicken or something, because he would say, you know, your wife needs that for nutrition. You know, take the chicken home, kind of thing. But anyway, so here's from the time she was very young. I mean, young in a very impressionable way. She was thinking about the importance. I mean, he was teaching her the importance of all people, and also everybody comes to a doctor. The Batistianos came to the doctors. The policemen who are completely corrupt came to the doctor. You know, everyone comes to a doctor. So she knew everybody. She knew who she could trust. She knew how they stood on matters. And then she had this vast knowledge of people who lived in these incredible small huts. Also, her father really acted as the coroner, more or less. He had to go up and, you know, determine when people had died and the cause and so on. And she was such a protector of her father. I don't know to what degree that's being, you know, a Latin American woman or whatever it is, but she truly loved her father, and she took seriously when he would go up. She would go up the mountains with him or on a launch. So she knew everybody. And that made her a tremendously good guerrilla, because a doctor also has to be confidential. So she knew how to just keep her mouth shut. But mostly, her father had had run-ins with the mill owners, and he drew a line, and she knew how to draw that line. But mostly, he taught her social justice. And even there are stories of her as a really little girl bringing children home that were not that much younger than she, and you know, delousing them and doing this sort of thing. She was just, she was very much guided by her father. She also, he was very, he was kind of glamorous. He had a big collection of books, of art books. He had this collection of pots from his digs. He had some Chinese import beautiful pottery. I mean, porcelain that he had. So he also believed in style. So she had that. She was part of that whole package. And a doctor has to be a good communicator, and so she worked at being a good conversationalist, and she was a good writer. You know, so all those things tremendously important. But she really believed that the government had sold everybody short, except those who were, fat cats, and had no problem doing whatever it took